Have you ever walked out of a movie?
I don't think so. I don't remember doing that.
I remember doing that. I don't know which one I did it for.
I never did either. If I went, I'll just sit through it.
I don't understand people who can sleep in movies.
Me
That's a whole
neither.
category of people out there.
I would rather sleep than walk out.
I can't sleep with so much noise
Yeah,
and
me neither.
people clapping in out of nowhere, babies crying.
What people clap during movies?
What
What are you watching?
Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of Gal Pals Unplugged. I'm Arya,
And I'm Sanchita.
and this podcast is for all our girlies and men also, in case you're wondering how we function.
Yes. Today we have a very close friend of ours, Neil, on our podcast. Hi, Neil.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
Good.
Do you want to tell them a little about yourself?
Sure. I'm a third generation businessman and I work in real estate. And I'm also an architect and a musician.
So can we call you an eligible bachelor?
I don't think so, but sure, whatever helps.
Oh, the modesty. Okay. But a quick recap into why we've gotten Neil on today's episode. So one day we were having a fun little
Q&A
drunken night
session.
अरे कहना क्या चाहते हो?
drink session, and we got into a Gossip Girl contest where me and Arya were against Neil, and Anuj pulled up some 20 questions on who knows Gossip Girl better or whatever, and Neil hands down won. That's why we thought,
So it technically wasn't a contest.
and he won 2 against 1.
come on, we were close. We were like, the score was some 17-20.
I got the belt.
Yeah, you got the
Sure. So, today we're going to be discussing TV shows, books, movies, just everything that has shaped us into who we are today, because I think it has a really big influence on us. Let's begin from the beginning.
Yeah.
Where did it all kind of start for you guys? The books or the movies or the TV shows?
I think, okay, Neil, you go first. Let's get your hot take.
Well, I
on
think
this.
books started pretty late in my life. I think the last couple of years I actually took up reading as a hobby or as an errand, I would like to call it. I'm not a book person, I never was. My sister, on the other hand, was constantly with books. I did have a lot of books at home, but never sort of, went through an entire book ever. But
So-
movies and TV shows, it's pretty much. I mean, since we were like 10, we start watching TV,
Yeah.
right? So,
I think we're one of the first generations who got introduced to like Friends and like the Western culture of, because I don't know if like a little people who are like 6-10 years elder to us were watching Friends, or like while they were 11-12, or while you're in your what do you call it, transformative years.
Mhm.
So I think
but there was no way for them to watch it.
100%, but that's what I'm saying. It's about like we got that exposure first.
Yeah.
I think on the contrary, for us it was a little different because we've spoken about this. We started reading books at a really young age.
Yeah.
I remember for me it was Tinkle and
Yeah.
Enid Blyton, Secret Seven, and
Yeah.
Famous Five, and mystery books, and I
Yeah.
loved reading those. I fully had like specs because I used to like go inside my blanket and switch on the torch and like read books in the middle of the night. So it started way back in the day for us with reading, and then eventually I think I made that switch from reading to TV shows, and TV shows basically a lot later on. I think during my engineering or just a little before engineering, like my 12th grade, with like Friends and Game of Thrones, and that was a
Yeah.
whole different era because we used to fully like download episodes on
From
torrent,
torrents,
and
yeah,
then
that was a vibe.
yeah,
And
I
there was
don't think
never
people
like 100%. You had to wait till that
Yeah.
thing was downloaded, and it was 100%.
it sucked. It used to always like load till a 99 and
Yeah,
gone.
Failed. Gone. So yeah, I think similarly for me, it started with like Nancy Drew and all of those famous five, those set of books that were really popular back in the day. But I think when I was 14, my brother sort of showed me Friends, and sort of we sat together, and he's like, okay, this is something I'm watching, and then I just like wrote them off. I was not reading till I was 21, 22 again. So I think we've had similar journeys in
Yeah.
that.
My earliest memory of people going gaga over books was like Harry Potter, basically.
Oh yeah. that was
Like
a-
there were kids lining up outside like bookstores and whatnot, just like to get the first copy of whatever the book that's coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you,
I mean,
have
like,
you
there
read
were-
Harry Potter?
I mean, I've tried.
Yeah,
Like
even
I said, I haven't finished
read
an
it.
entire
I've
book.
never
I've tried. I saw the movie, but I think it's because I started really late, and that hype was when we were kids,
Younger.
and
Yeah.
then I just could never sit through the entire or like go through the entire set of books. So I've never read Harry Potter.
Do you guys remember like outside like Crossword or like Pathfinder, there were like big queues
Yeah,
of
yeah,
people
that I
standing just to get the copy of a book?
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
like insane. I mean, I could never relate to
Yeah.
those people. I think it was the easiest way to kind of escape from your life. Like,
Yeah.
Did we need to escape from
Yeah.
our lives
I mean, I'm
at
sure.
14-year-old.
I'm sure like with school and stuff, you just want to escape
Yeah,
to
the
like a book.
homework stressful.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
No, but like, what do you mean by escape?
Well, like how kids have like better imagination, so they want to create a world of their own, like a fantasy or something like that, where they relate to some character from a book. So that's their kind of like a different life that they're living through the book. That's what I meant by it.
Yeah.
A lot of like kids that I remember they used to read like fiction. I mean, like Roald Dahl and all of those
Yeah.
authors basically created a world of their own. Right?
Yeah.
So maybe like an escape to that.
Mm.
And precisely, I mean, you don't know what like kids are going through, like with their homes and like school
Mm.
life and
Yeah.
friends and stuff like that. So everyone needs an escape.
Yeah.
Are you a one book at a time reader, or do you like to juggle multiple books at once?
One book.
Multiple books.
I'm more than one book, but maybe audiobooks. I keep like switching from different audiobooks all the time.
I have never heard an audiobook.
Yeah. So
What do you say?
was it? Yeah, and nor do I. I don't think I have it in me to read on a Kindle.
Kindle.
Like.
yeah.
Well, for me, like just sitting and reading a book, like a physical copy of a book, is just like too boring sometimes. So what I do is like when I'm like in the car or something, I just start an audiobook. Or when I'm trying to go to sleep, I just put a timer and I read an audiobook. I mean, I listen to an audiobook.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
remember
no sense.
like a few years ago, I had a very close friend of mine, Neil, who was supposed to give me a Kindle for my birthday, and that just never came through. So I'm
Is
still
that,
waiting.
Are we talking about the same person?
Yeah, still waiting on that Kindle that never came through. But okay.
So give me a must read.
That's a tough one. So I'll recommend this book that I read recently, which is called Start With Why, which is a book by Simon Sinek. This mentor, this speaker, basically talks about how companies, like great companies, inherently have this passion, this drive, this purpose behind all of their operations. So he talks about different companies and why you should have that why, and why good to great. That step is all depends on the why that you have. It's a really interesting read, and the author, he's also a really great speaker. So when you read the book, you can like go to like YouTube and see him talk. So I think for me that's a must read.
I think my must read is definitely You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, because I read it early on and it's basically half a book and she talks to you in like super simple English, what is what. But the next half of the book is literally what happens to you physically. Like she'll probably be like acidity, what causes it, and affirmation as to what is actually wrong with you. And she's done that for the whole book with A to Z, with anxiety, acidity, back pain, knee pain. She addresses everything. That basically she's like anything you're going through emotionally has a physical connect and it shows out in this way. And I love that it's like a booklet. Like there used to be times when I'm like, okay, my toe is hurting, and I'll go to that book and be like, why is my toe hurting? So I like that she's fully linked all that together, and that's
That's
very
way
good
better
book.
than
Interesting.
Googling why
Yeah,
is my toe hurting.
Yeah.
You're dying next
Yeah.
week.
Google will
It's a
probably
toe
tell you
cancer.
to cut your toe off. Like,
Yeah. What's your must read?
I'll give you a hot take.
Hmm.
So everybody is just gaga about The Secret, which is great. I fully believe in the law of attraction, manifestation, all of that. I'd live through it. But I don't think, I think that book is really preachy. And I found an alternative to it. I really liked The Power of Your Subconscious Mind because it gives you the same message but in a better format with better examples that are way more realistic and engaging. Because I think I started with The Secret, I read it as well, but halfway through I was like, okay, I get the point now. What next? Like, you're just telling me the same thing over and over and over again. And I think it's a little easier to follow through The Power of Your Subconscious Mind because they're also essentially telling you the same message, but it's just way better. And I think there are many books on the same lines, but I think there's another one that I'm reading right now, which is Tuesdays with Maury, which is also a fantastic read. So I would say flavors of The Secret, but I would not essentially just stick to The Secret.
For me, basically, when I read, right now I'm reading a book called 101 Essays That Can Change Your Life, which is incredible. It just gives you like pointers, bullet points of how this is, how that is. What I do is things that I know I struggle with and I can improve, I highlight them and I only go through those when I feel like. But the truth is that when I was reading Secret when I was 14, 15, people told me that it's a practice. You have to, you can't read Secret once. People reread these books, but I can't keep reading the same book completely from first page to the last. So what I do is I highlight the most important parts and I make sure I don't go crazy with my highlighter because I used to do that too. But I make sure I only highlight things that I know I can fully like grow in this area, and then I go through those again.
I mean, a must read, I don't know, but like you need to have read at least one finance management book. So I just read this book called Romancing the Balance Sheet. It's by Dr. Anil Lamba.
Yeah.
And like someone recommended it to me. I was like blown away by the simplicity and how easy it is to kind of adapt the strategies and the knowledge that he's given through the book.
So on a lighter note, give me something about fiction.
I think I balance the spectrum with mystery thrillers because I need something to hook me while I'm reading. And I think more than that, my life's been pretty stable for the past 8 years. So I'd look for like a little thrill in these books. That's, I think, my psychoanalysis of why I read mystery books. There's like a bunch, but I think I recently read House Across the Lake, which was a really fast read. I finished it, could not put it down.
I just love thrillers. I love anything suspense. I think I wouldn't move on to the next page if there was nothing keeping me hooked. I really liked The Silent Patient, must read.
Too good.
And I also really liked Verity.
ये स्कीम किसी ऐरे गहरे नत्थु गहरे के लिए नहीं है. इसके लिए बड़ी ऊंची पहचान चाहिए, ऊंची पहुंच चाहिए.
I think with me, my life itself, it's filled with so many thrills and stuff like that.
Unpredictable.
That I really do not want any more of that in my.
So what's thrilling about your life at the moment?
I think we can continue that offline. So if I had to read a fiction or like a literature based on fiction, I would rather grab like a Chris Nolan movie script, like an Inception or something similar, like a Dark Knight script. That's still fiction, but I would happily read that.
It's a hot take.
If that's available
fiction.
Online or something.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Scripts are available online.
Or maybe an unreleased Chris Nolan script. That would be fun.
So which movie genre do you find yourself gravitating towards the most and why?
So I am not particularly partial towards a genre per se, but I'm really good with something that's when the story is being told in depth kind of way. That's where I think all Chris Nolan films, like his brother Jonathan, writes scripts for all his movies. And if I ever had to like read a script, the reason I said that, because the script and the movie, you can feel that there's some symbiotic relation between them, which basic average movies somehow do not have. That's the disconnect that kind of gets you kind of uninterested in the movie.
Yeah.
So for me, more than the genre, it's about how the script and the screenplay work well when you're actually watching the movie, backed up with like really good background score and like cinematography and everything.
Wow, you really watch a movie. I watch a movie.
I watch a movie as well.
Yeah.
I don't gravitate towards any genre either. I wouldn't I would specifically exclude sci-fi because that's not my type.
Yes.
But just like books, I really like watching mystery, suspense
Yeah.
movies. Rom-com, horror is a big one. I love horror movies, horror documentaries,
Yeah.
thrillers, psychological thrillers. I can sleep like a baby after I watch
Yeah.
horror movies.
Yeah.
Love them. Top of my list.
Same for me. I think I'm big on like these horror movies,
चल झूठा
thrillers, all of that. But I don't sleep like a baby, and I don't know why I need that thrill in my life, but I keep doing that to myself and like have really vivid dreams. It's not pleasant. I'm waking up in the night, but I would still torture myself.
I would never watch a horror film.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, I would
Do you want
have
to tell
like,
the audience how you are in a horror movie?
I'm like 1 foot out the door, basically.
And sitting like this.
Yes. I mean, I would never watch it in the first place because
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Whatever lets you sleep at night, white boy.
The rush of it.
So you can watch a sci-fi film or like a thriller, like a murder film, or like something like a Shutter Island or like Dune, which is like still keeping you on your toes and stuff. But why horror? I don't understand.
Because I like to think that there are a few energies out there that I have no knowledge about, and I can't control it, and I can't have any
and the
sort of
jump scares,
Yeah.
you only get them in a horror movie.
yeah.
But Shutter Island was an
Yeah, Shutter
excellent
Island was
movie.
too good.
Yeah.
I don't know when this shift happened, because as a kid I did watch movies with my parents and all of that. I have to fully prepare myself for 2 days that tomorrow I'm going to watch that movie if like it's on Netflix. I don't know, it's not my thing anymore. I can't sit the 2.5 hours.
I think it's also because we take a lot of time to narrow down to what movie we want to watch because there's so many criteria: the actors, the storyline,
Yeah.
the IMDb.
Or like you can have those surprise watches where you start a movie and you are blown away because you wouldn't expect to be so engrossed in the movie.
That rarely happens.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it happens all the time.
Can you give us an underrated movie?
If you're talking about Bollywood, I would say Lagan. The reason I feel it's underrated because I've spoken to a lot of people about it. Most of them have not seen it or they don't recall it like properly. And it's one of the greatest films that's kind of, been
Yeah.
made in India. It's got everything. It's got two things that people love, which is like basically Bollywood and cricket.
I have a underrated movie recommendation, Tumbad. It's a really scary movie, very well directed, amazing storyline. Highly recommend.
I don't have like a underrated recommendation, but I definitely have an overrated recommendation, which is honestly don't come for me, but Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, and even like a Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna.
But who says those are good movies?
Yeah.
They are very
Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna is horrible.
The kind of traction Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna and Kuch Kuch Hota Hai both got too much. Okay, even if I keep Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna out of it, the songs were a hit
Yeah.
from that movie. But Kuch Kuch Hota Hai was the
It's a fan favorite. It's not a
Yeah.
great acclaimed movie. Like
I
I mean,
think it's-
at least
I
for
like
me.
it. I mean, I wouldn't watch it over and over again. Like I'd watch Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum.
Yeah, but like Neela, I'm not going into some depth of director and all this. I'm not going into that. I'm just talking about movies that were big hits, which I think should, like for me personally, didn't check all the boxes.
Also, it's like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
So let's move on to TV shows. What was the first TV show you remember binge watching?
I think How I Met Your Mother or The Big Bang Theory, a good solid 10 years back.
Started with TV shows at 18.
Yeah, I mean, before that, it was mostly these anime things like,
Oh,
like Pokemon, like Beyblade,
oh
and stuff like
yeah.
that.
So they were a while. I definitely started with the classic and as cliche Friends. I was, I think, 13, and that's the only thing we found on Torrents, and I started with Friends. Then going into Vampire Diaries.
I know you're obsessed with me.
I loved watching emotional atyachar. I was
What is-
obsessed.
What?
You don't know emotional
No.
atyachar?
Oh my god!
Oh my god, Neil!
Are that bikini shoot series? They should invite a guest over.
What?
Have you seen that meme that went viral of the girl who was like, two-piece,
bikini.
he's such a...
One eternity later.
Let me get into this properly. Emotional atyachar. Priya is also perplexed because she's clearly not from our generation,
Oh my god.
was a show where they used to get one of the two people. Let's say you and X are dating. They get X on that show saying, are you sure your partner is trustworthy and all that? And then X is like, no, I want to check. They introduce a third female in your life, completely from their show.
And this is all short.
Basically testing the loyalty.
Yeah,
of-
loyalty. And then that chick, X, is seeing everything on the screen.
But I'll tell you, the most entertaining part of it was there was a whole confrontation at the end of it where there used to be massive fights between the couple. तूने ये किया, तूने वो किया, this, that.
Yeah,
It was
I'm
intense.
still pretty sure it's scripted.
Don't kill my wife.
Listen, don't kill our vibe, okay?
I'll tell you a few more, which I was thoroughly obsessed with. Still am in pieces. CID, Crime Patrol, and Saudhan India. Amazing. And I fully got
She
my...
said, amazing.
They are. You know what they did in CID? They used to say the same thing twice, okay? They used to be like,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's true.
no, I'll give you an example. They say, oh, इसकी हत्या तो गोली से हुई है. इसका मतलब यहाँ पे कोई पिस्तौल है. Very obvious. And they
ये
did this throughout
ये दरवाजा
the
तो टूटा हुआ है. मतलब कोई तो यहाँ पे आया था.
So let's have a little bit of fun. So we're going to do a trivia round of two shows, Modern Family and Gossip Girl, where it's Gal Pals versus me. What is Gloria's home country?
Colombia?
She said it first.
No, I said it first.
Okay.
I said it first.
What are you saying? I said it
I
first.
said
Okay.
We have an audio evidence.
Which character is known for their obsession with magic tricks?
Phil Dunphy.
Phil.
His son,
What is the name of Serena's younger brother?
Eric.
What is Jay Pritchett's business?
He's a wardrobe
Wardrobe.
manufacturer.
Yeah.
Who is Claire and Phil's middle child?
In Alex.
Alex.
Who does Nate Archibald have an affair with in season 1?
Vanessa.
No, that's not Vanessa.
No, with Serena.
The elder lady,
That's not
No, that's
season
not
one.
season
In
1.
Season
Season 1 is
he has
Vanessa,
it.
I'm telling you.
What is Cam's clown name?
Oh.
Buzo. Zuzo.
Yeah, something like that. Fubo.
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 नाक काट दी तूने हमारी ग्रुप की.
What is the name of Jay and Gloria's dog?
Stella.
What is Blair Waldorf's mother's name?
Eleanor.
What is the nickname Phil gives to his alter ego while showing houses?
Clive.
Which European prince does Blair get engaged to?
Louis.
In what year did the original Gossip Girl series premiere?
2011.
I have not even finished the question. Who is Blair's first college roommate?
Vanessa.
No, Lizzie McGuire. What's her name on the show? Olivia.
Okay, sorry.
Where did Lily Vanderwoodson, Serena's mother, grow up?
California.
Yeah, Rhode Island का गए थे उसने.
Which holiday does Cam always go overboard with?
Halloween.
Christmas.
Halloween.
What is the name of Mitch and Cam's adopted daughter?
Lily.
What does Phil Dunphy do for a living?
Realtor.
Real.
मैं नहीं मानता.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Gal Pals Unplugged. We hope you had fun. And please do send us your recommendations if you have any, now that you know what kind of content we engage in. We'd love to see all of that. And yeah, this is us signing off for today's episode, and we hope you like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff.
Thank you so much, Neil, for joining us on this fun little episode of Gal Pals Unplugged. I
Thank
hope
you for
had
having me.
fun. But okay, great. Thanks, Neil. Bye. I haven't underrated.
Shut the fuck up.
No. Please. Okay, Pilu.
My god.
You know that you're up next.
I answered like this. I think my first read is.
I think regularity classes.
9.
Explain this, please. Go ahead.
No, I think it's not part of this podcast.
She cracked.
Like,